ladies and gentlemen. It is extremely heartening to see that on the eve of Deepavali, 27 people have joined the program on payroll management. Now, what does that tell us? It tells us that we all love to be paid, isn't it? And who better to talk to us about being paid than a person who is professionally certified in it? Sandhya Jayaprakash is a highly qualified person with a unique resume. And I think, a few words about her would be in order. She's an HR and payroll professional. We have all heard of HR professional, but she's a payroll professional, currently working as a payroll manager in Abu Dhabi. She has been in the UAE for over 29 years. Sandhya is an associate member of CIPD, that is Chartered Institute of Personal Development, as well as a member of CIPP, that is Professional Payroll Professional. As a certified payroll specialist and holding certificate of ultimate payroll management, she is a very sought after person whenever it comes to disbursement of salaries. So we are in the right place, tomorrow being Deepavali, and we are all eagerly looking to Goddess Lakshmi visiting our home. Who better than Sandhya to tell us the direction in which we have to look at? She is a university rank holder for a bachelor's degree and has master's degree and post-diploma from Symbiosis. A highly professional credential of fellowship in strategic HRM and OD. Sandhya is continuing a journey of learning to pursue certificate leadership in employee relations and engagement, diploma in modern applied psychology, NLP practitioner, what else and what not. In fact, Sandhya is one of those traditional, copybook, lifelong learner. That spells, on her face, that bright, smiling look that tells you that she is really a good learner. Sandhya has 20 years of work experience in the United Arab Emirates, out of which 16 years have been in payroll. She is highly passionate of new learning and equally interested in sharing her knowledge, which is obvious that she has come to share her knowledge about payroll management with all of us. I welcome you all and very specially welcome Sandhya to this platform of VAC Solutions and hope that she will be able to enlighten us with many interesting things about payroll management. Over to you, Sandhya. Thank you. You are muted, Sandhya. Kindly unmute yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I'll just share my screen. Please let me know if you're able to see the screen. Okay.
Yes, very clearly.
Thank you so much. So thank you, Arun sir, for bringing the trainer in me. And thank you, VAC Solution, for providing me this platform. Dear guests, thank you so much for sparing your valuable time for this session. Highly appreciated. And my sincere gratitude to all and to the Almighty and to my family members, friends, colleagues, well-wishers for joining me. So let the journey begin. Undoubtedly, what an interesting subject I have for today evening. One of the greatest expenses for any company or organization is its payroll, a department that is often overlooked or embedded within HR or finance. In fact, it is not uncommon for some companies to treat their payroll professionals as data entry clerks. Perhaps the payroll position originated as a bookkeeper, accounting assistant, or HR coordinator, but that is no longer the case. That outdated concept of payroll and the role of today's payroll professionals have evolved. Today, the payroll pro is a key player within many corporations. With changes in company strategy alongside the establishment of a multinational presence and the complex compliance requirements that go with it, payroll has evolved into a strategic and important vertical in the scope of an organization's business. As the technology landscape evolves, largely due to the increasing use of automation and robotics and the addition of shared services and global support, the professionals in payroll have started to change their thought processes. Gone are the days of routine domestic payroll, performing the gross to net calculations and focusing only on the day-to-day operations. Payroll has crossed into a world of business strategy, data interpretation, business relationships, and continuing improvement through it. All compliances requirements multiply every border crossed. So, what does this signify? The future of the field. So, what is in our agenda for today's webinar? What are we going to discuss? Agenda for today. We'll see the craziest payroll rules, ATM address the myth, BTM break the myth, next step in evolution of global payroll and the professional, payroll principles and philosophy, theories of wage and salary, payroll tour around the world, learn payroll tools and techniques, and something on GDPR, and payroll practitioners know your role. So let's start. Friends, to make you feel too enthusiastic about payroll topics, here are 5 craziest payroll rules of the past. Over the years, employees have been paid in a strange ways. Payroll plays a critical role for every business with an employee, but it's undergone many changes before becoming what it is today. Well, the exact origin of payroll is uncertain, like beginning in the form of a payment of goods for services. Most suppose that the first salary would have been paid in the Neolithic Revolution, sometimes between 10,000 6,000 BC. This probably looked like nothing the salary and hourly pay we have today. Let's go ahead. Employees paid in beer. The ancient Egyptian economy was based on the redistribution of commodities. Egyptian workers were compensated for work with beer, bread, grain, meat, and cloth rations, which were the necessities of life at the time. Some may agree that these are still the basic necessities today. Imagine our employer paid us 385 beer a week instead of $40,000 per salary here. Payroll numbers recorded on inscribed clay tablets. Beer has a role to play in this history of payroll system too. BBC says some of the earliest writing in the world called cuneiform, meaning wedge-shaped, was used to record rations. A tablet was used to record workers' daily beer rations. On the clay tablet, beer is represented by an upright jar, and a human head eating from a bowl depicts rations. We can bet our accountant is glad that they don't have to use clay tablets for generating year-end reports. Double wages for workers living the American way. In the early 1900s, Henry Ford famously doubled his employees' wages, going from $2.5 a day to $5. However, not every employee was able to receive this raise. To determine who among his employees was eligible, a group called the Socialization Organization would visit the homes of each employee to determine if they were living according to the standards of Henry Ford. For example, men did not qualify if their wives worked outside the home. Women did not qualify unless they were single or the sole provider for their family. Immigrants had to attend classes in order to be Americanized. Men and women were not permitted to drink alcohol or gamble. We are pretty sure none of these qualifications would fly today. And if your boss has sent people in your home to find out how you live, please contact HR immediately. Women paid 53% less than men. During World War II, when women took on male positions as factory workers, engineers, drivers, conductors, and nurses, they were compensated with much lower salary. Although the women frequently went on strike, there were limited agreements on equal pay, as many of the employers were able to evade the issue. Women were paid an average of 53% of the wage earned by men they replaced. Inequalities in the workforce are no longer what they used to be, but unfortunately, they still exist. This is one crazy payroll fact that should be history by now. Soldiers paid in salt. Roman soldiers were historically paid in coin, but it is also said that they were paid in salt. Some even say the word salary is derived from the word salt due to the salt allowances of soldiers. The Latin salarium may have originally been salt money, soldiers' allowance for the purchase of salt. We are glad that we are not paid in salt today. So there are some misconceptions. Myth. You cannot afford to go wrong with payroll. Very commonly used statement. Why? For starters, the cost of mismanaged payroll begins with harsh fines and penalties and ultimately leads to ruining the entire business. As per research, payroll problems affect 54% of the workforce. 40% of SME owners believe that managing payroll-related taxes are the worst and most time-consuming part of owning a business. The issue, however, is not payroll, but the misconception hovering around it that create problems and harms business. Be it our personal or professional life, we tend to do our homework before trusting things, whether it is a rumor we heard about someone or something. Everything stems integrity, the information provided to us. Similarly, the global payroll industry often encounters a few myths that discourage some managers from working with payroll. However, these myths can be debunked by getting the facts right. Comprehending the difference between the truth and fabricated messages will assist choosing the best payroll working model for our company. Here are some of the significant fallacies that should be addressed by the organization while looking on to transform the payroll ecosphere. Address the myth. The first one, myth one. Payroll is a one-time effort. This cannot be farther from the truth. Setting up a framework for payroll is a continuous process. It does not end with setting up payroll software. The process needs regular evaluation and periodic updates. And that's precisely how we maximize its efficiency. We need to continuously eliminate repetitive tasks, find error-prone areas, and identify time-consuming parts using payroll software. Changes in the work atmosphere, compliance standards, and technological developments also contribute, making payroll an ongoing process. Remember to frequently audit your payroll software and the entire process. Myth 2. Payroll is equal to salary. Salary calculation. Payroll is often misconstrued as a process of paying employees for their job works. The reality, however, is different. Payroll cannot exclusively fit under HR. It involves accounting procedures too. The payroll process involves salary calculations as per the leave policy, but that's just a part of it. It also deals with time and attendance, deducting TDS and contribution for provident fund and professional tax and all that's applicable. Payroll is thus much more than salary calculation. Myth 3. Anyone from the HR finance department can process payroll. Payroll deals with highly confidential employee data, so it must not be handled by just anyone. Assign payroll responsibility to experts who have the necessary skills. Make sure they know how to handle sensitive information besides knowing about taxation and its statutory aspects. Always have a confidentiality agreement in place to maintain the security of your payroll data. Myth 4. Payroll does not involve strategy. That's a lie. Payroll does not comprise transactions alone. There are various strategic activities that go into making an efficient payroll process. Payroll components are thoroughly reviewed to ensure that our payroll synchronizes with industry standards, benefit employees, and gives us competitive edge. Ensure that your payroll and organizational goals are on the same lines. Myth 5. Spreadsheet-based payroll is simpler and error-free. At least 40% of owners of small to medium-sized enterprises agree that payroll processing is perhaps the most time-consuming part of owning a business. Most businesses have in fact done with the spreadsheets or physical timesheets because of three major reasons: for being extremely prone to mistakes, being vulnerable to frauds, and for being quite hard to map. Spreadsheets also require a skilled professional that is adept in handling the many specialized functionalities of the tool to ensure that all redundant work done with it worth the massive time and effort invested. Since spreadsheets does not involve any upfront cost, business owners are led to believe that this is the best way forward. According to research, 60% of companies say it takes them close to 7 or more days for payroll processing, and a mighty 88% of these spreadsheets were found to have the simplest of data errors got to do with copy-paste, formulae, or formatting. Errors that could very well cost the company millions at time. Myth 6. It takes a lot of time to do payroll. Payroll software closes the gap between a business and regulations, helping the recording of employee details, calculating employees' pay, reporting payroll information, and working out employee statutory payment. Having the technology to help stay on top of records, cash flow, charts of accounts, general ledger, and business information fundamentally eases the admin burden and ultimately allow focus on running the business. Myth 7, you need to be a mathematician. Another fallacy of payroll is that you need lots of subject-specific knowledge to be able to carry it out effectively. People believe that to carry out payroll obligations, you need to be a wizard in mathematician, needing to be able to calculate each employee's gross and net while ensuring you are withholding the correct amount of money for taxes each pay period can seem like a hugely complex task. In fact, a wealth of information from payroll processing to understanding pensions can be found by attending payroll seminars, watching webinars, and attending industry conferences, allowing you to soak up topical advices about legislative changes and new payroll procedures. Finally, payroll has no role in retaining the employee and enhancing their experience. Employees have both monetary and non-monetary motivating factors, and both affect their experience. An efficient payroll system with accurate payments, payslip issuance, employee self-service portals increases employees' trust in the organization. This inculcates a transparent culture, reduces employee turnover, and enhances their experience. So now you know the common misconceptions that trap us. So the next step after understanding their corresponding myths, we need to take one step at a time to eliminate them by leveraging the latest processes and technologies. So let's break the myth. Breaking with convention to break the myth. Many organizations devote enormous amount of time and energy to their pay system. Organizations are trapped in unproductive way of approaching pay, which they find difficult to escape. And the reason, because people are afraid to challenge the myth about pay. It is easier and less controversial to see what everyone else is doing and then do the same. Companies that are truly exceptional are not trapped by convention, but instead see and pursue a better business model. Companies that have successfully transcended the myth about pay know that pay cannot substitute for a working environment high on trust, fun, and meaningful work. They also know that it is more important to worry about what people do than what they cost, and that zero-sum pay plans can set off internal competition that makes learning from others, teamwork, and cross-functional cooperation a dream rather than the way place works on an everyday basis. Yes, as Harvard Business Review says, pay cannot substitute for a working environment high on trust, fun, and meaningful work. There is an interesting paradox in achieving high organizational performance through innovative pay practices. If it were easy to do, it would not provide as much competitive leverage as it actually does. So the logic and evidence, and with some alternative way of thinking about pay, it is the job of the leaders to exercise both the judgment and courage necessary to break with common practices. Those who develop organization in which pay practices actually contribute rather than detract from building high performance management systems. But those who are stuck in the past are probably doomed to endless tinkering with pay. At the end of the day, they won't have accomplished much, but they will have expended a lot of time and money doing it. So let's have the courage to break the myth. So what's next? The next step in global payroll evolution, let's see what are the drivers of global change. Data transparency, automation, global expansion, information security, shared services, merger and acquisition, remote work, regulatory changes, cost reduction, pay equality. So, next is the most interesting part to discuss on the future of global payroll, the evolution of global payroll. This is taken from the Global Payroll, the official magazine of Global Payroll Management Institute. It says about evolution of global payroll in 3 models. Yes, we are learning economics now, but it's such an interesting portion of know-how. I really enjoyed exploring it. Managing global payroll, particularly across a large number of countries, is complex and challenging. The difference in local laws and regulations are so distinct that a single global solution is unable to cover the footprint of a multinational company without extensive investment in localization. The one-size-fits-all global solution is elusive and may never be realized. Even the largest global vendors do not have one single payroll solution that is capable of processing payrolls across countries. Instead, they have many different payroll engines processing payroll in different countries. For customers who need to process payroll for employees across many countries, this has long meant that they end up with hodgepodge of local payroll solutions that are fragmented and disconnected. In the consumer world, we have seen new marketplace models pop up that have brought together consumers and providers in traditionally highly localized fragmented markets. The digital marketplace of Amazon have allowed consumers to readily and with confidence buy goods from providers halfway around the world with whom they would have never been able to transact before. Marketplaces like Booking.com, TripAdvisor have allowed travelers to identify and procure services from the best local service providers, in this case, hotels or restaurants, without having set foot in the country. In addition, these marketplaces have helped to dramatically simplify and standardize the involved business processes across countries and vendors. It does not matter whether you book a hotel room in New York, Beijing, you use the same interface and follow the same simple clicks to complete your transaction. Finally, the self-regulating mechanisms of the marketplace, that is consumer review of products and vendors and marketplace control mechanism, ensure a high degree of trust and confidence is established between remote customers and vendors. And all this has been possible with the advent of modern internet technology that connects local buyers and sellers through standardized interface. So in summary, the digital marketplaces have given consumers increased reach and choice, better transparency, simplified process, and trust and confidence in the provider. So how is global payroll connected to the subject? The global payroll industry is ripe for a transformation, similar to what other industries have undergone with the emergence to open digital marketplaces. Global payroll marketplaces will allow multinational businesses to confidently select the best local payroll solutions anywhere in the world and connect to and transact with these solutions in a highly standardized manner, driving unparalleled process efficiency and transparency across their entire global payroll operations. As a result, companies can overcome the historical challenges of fragmented local payroll environments and tap into the same benefits provided by the consumer marketplaces outlined above. Increased reach and choice, better transparency, simplified processes, and trust and confidence in the provider. In the consumer world, the marketplace did not appear overnight, but were the result of an ongoing evolution in the respective industry. Similarly, there is an evolution in the payroll industry towards an open marketplace model. This evolution and characteristics of the different evolution stages are described. Phase 1, the decentralized model. Historically, companies have adopted specific local solutions to ensure they are paying employees in a compliant way, often outsourcing their payroll to a local service provider. This tends to be the way most businesses start their foray into international payroll, opportunistically setting up decentralized payroll operations using local solutions from local or regional service provider. While this decentralized approach is a pragmatic way to quickly get started and taps into the local know-how of in-country payroll experts, it comes with a number of drawbacks. Lack of process standardization. Each country follows different process and uses different tools driven by the local vendor and local system. It is very difficult to standardize process, making it virtually impossible to generate operational efficiency through shared services models or central automation tools. Lack of data aggregation. Payroll and employee data sits in local system, and it is very difficult to generate aggregate data visibility. Even simple data consolidation exercise like how many employees do we have across the organization requires prohibitive manual effort. Large number of vendors to manage. Multiple vendor relationship must be negotiated and managed around the world, often without a clear sense of how the selected local partner stacks up in comparison to its local peers. So what came up was the aggregator model. In response to the shortcomings of the decentralized model about 10 years ago, a number of global players introduced the so-called aggregator model. As the name suggests, a central provider offers to aggregate the total solutions, the local solutions, on behalf of the customer. It offers both commercial and operational harmonization, single global contract and pricing, as well as streamlined process and data. However, while the aggregator model does achieve some level of aggregation and hence simplification, it comes with major flaws of its own. Lack of choice. Customers are bound to a closed network of vendors dictated by the global provider, with a huge switching cost to get in and out of the closed network. To adopt an aggregator solution, customers have to rip and replace all their existing local payroll system. This presents a tremendous burden in terms of time, operational risk, and financial cost. Inflexible. These solutions tend to be rigid. They do not support a mix of in-house and outsourced payroll setups, which tends to be the case in large multinational companies, and lack accommodation of customer-specific service levels of reporting needs. Expensive. Because aggregators charge a margin on top of the fees of the local providers and add their own significant overhead into the calculation, the fees for the aggregator solutions are typically 2 or 3 times the rate of domestic payroll solutions. So while the aggregator model starts to address the challenges of fragmented processes and data, it comes with its own set of drawbacks, typified by a lack of choice, decreased flexibility, and economics. So, what comes up is the open marketplace model. The next logical step in the evolution of global payroll is the creation of open marketplace for global payroll that allows multinational customers to readily select and collaborate with any local payroll expert around the globe in an open, transparent, secure, and environment. While the marketplace model has some of the same characteristics as the aggregator model, that is providing access to local solutions through one central platform and aggregating and harmonizing data and processes, it is fundamentally different in how it delivers these value elements. In the aggregator model, customers are locked into a specific set of local vendors and solutions that are dictated by the aggregator, dramatically limiting their choice and flexibility. The marketplace model is inherently open and vendor agnostic, meaning any local vendor can provide its services to the customer via the marketplace as long as it abides by basic policies and norms. This means that the customer can bring their existing set of preferred local vendors into the marketplace, benefiting from the aggregation and harmonizations provided by the marketplace without having to replace their local vendors, which of course would be disruptive and costly, which is precisely what they would have to do with aggregator model. And of course, in the marketplace model, the customer can switch local vendors at any point of time, which naturally fosters healthy competition. And we know that competition is vital to ensure innovation and best value for the customer. So in many ways, the open marketplace model offers the best of the world, free choice and flexibility, paired with an ability to standardize and aggregate processes and data across local solutions. Customers can choose their preferred local vendor, indeed selecting the vendor based on first-hand reviews provided by the customers, similar to the reviews in the marketplace like Amazon or TripAdvisor. At the same time, by collaborating with the local vendors through the marketplace platform that provides central tools such as workflow management, compliance tracking, consolidated reporting, KPI monitoring, the customers can simplify and standardize the day-to-day payroll operations across different countries. The move towards an open marketplace model for payroll involves a few important implications for both customers and vendors. Vendors must adhere to the principles and norms of the marketplace. This may mean some level of adjustment on how the local provider is used to operating and conducting business. And the same is true for the local payroll administrators on the customer side. They too will need to adapt to the process and norms that comes with the open marketplace. Example, workflows, tools used. However, in most cases, these adjustments will be fairly minor and transitional, and the benefits for both customers and vendors to participate in the marketplace will far outweigh the cost to adjust. Ultimately, the same benefits emerge from the open marketplace model for payroll that have inspired in pioneering marketplaces of the consumer world. Increased reach and choice, better transparency, simplified process, and trust and confidence in the provider. Modern technology is irreversibly driving new business models that bring unparalleled connectivity, transparency, and efficiency. Marketplace models have taken many industries by storm by providing clear benefit to customers and vendors, more choice and better price points for customers, extended reach and access to a global client base for vendors. The payroll industry is ripe to undergo a major transformation and to reap the tremendous benefits of the marketplace model, freeing up thousands of labor hours through more efficient processes, creating rich business insights through better consolidated, driving unparalleled value and innovations through more choices and flexibility. What an interesting theory this is. So, this brings us to see the evolving role of global payroll professional. This is again taken from the same article, Global Payroll, the official magazine of the Global Payroll Management Institute. Now, understanding how the global payroll is going to be, the global payroll professionals must continue building their skills levels in core areas to catch up or to keep up with the evolving payroll functions. Let's take a little more closer look at the different areas of this ever-changing industry. The core areas. Business strategy. This is an area that must have the ability to develop a vision for the future of the payroll function that encompasses the direction of the organization. This requires that global payroll professionals think in greater time horizons than the current payroll year or how to process payroll today. The payroll leader must create a strategy that is nimble and flexible to accommodate changes within the company and the countries in which they operate. Take a seat at the planning table. The global payroll leader is expected to provide leadership and input in providing the business growth in new countries or new types of business in existing countries. This goes a long way in helping the entire organization succeed. Customer service. Creating a great employee experience is an expectation. Spending time understanding your employees and what is important to them will go a long way in determining how to provide good customer service. Be empathetic and humble. Understand that you are communicating a highly complex process. Take time to listen. Lastly, as you look at your development opportunities in global payroll, be sure to continue spending as much time developing your soft skills and business acumen as you do your technical payroll skills. Staying well-rounded in both areas will keep you on the leading edge of global payroll. Data interpretation. Understanding payroll data at a deeper level is essential to a company's direction and success abroad. Global payroll specialists must intimately understand the data and be able to accurately communicate and analyze it. This goes beyond statistics such as total gross pay or number of pay stubs and require a deeper analysis to determine the type of compensation costing your company the most and which processes are inefficient and may result in a loss. Learning to interpret your organization's data is necessary when discussing the implication with the leadership team. Many global companies are using some types of payroll data to make decisions related to their profits and loss. Creating a standard dashboard of the data they need with clear explanations enables everyone to interpret the data in the same way. Remember, the data is only as good as the person who wrote the criteria to pull the report. Standardization and automation eliminate manual errors. Metrics, KPI. Creating meaningful metrics and key performance indicators provide global payroll the tools it needed to accurately measure current health and function performance data for your organization and to use that data to strategize future business goals. Using your data enables you to convey what is meaningful to your organization. The levels of accuracy are so high in most organizations that to add value, your accuracy matrix needs to be more detailed. And that is where metrics and KPI become more important. Using an end-to-end process approach will give you a good indication of what you should look at to tell your story. For example, the termination, late termination, resulting in overpayment to the employee. To make that meaningful, you need to determine the root cause of the late termination. Adding a section on compliance is needed for each region of the country, and the measurement of compliance is different depending on the country. In US, you measure it by looking at the notices you receive from the state and local agencies related to filings. But in Netherlands, you may measure it by looking at how you have your employees listed related to social security requirements. Given that the pay cycles are different around the world, your metrics and KPIs will need to clearly articulate how you are measuring the data for each area. Using all your data to create a dashboard that you can share with your senior leaders will help guide your conversation as you communicate the health of your operations. Compliance. Keeping up with new rules for countries, states, and localities can be a daunting task. It is necessary to develop your compliance model and create a compliance role within the payroll function. The compliance model should define how to gather, how to track, update the requirements by the country. This should include, at the very least, compliance with social schemes, taxation, collective bargaining agreements, and required benefits. Penalties for non-compliance are at all time high, and tolerance by companies to accept this risk has become much lower. Expecting your vendor to be the only source of compliance will leave you in a lurch. Your company is always responsible for payroll compliance. Even in an outsourced environment, compliance for your processes and ultimately your payroll always resides within your organization. You should expect your vendor to make the necessary updates to their softwares as the law changes for that country or region. However, depending on your payroll setup, the updates may or may not apply to your population. So it's imperative that you know which changes are required. Document those in your compliance matrix. Having a strong business partnership with your vendors will result in better quality payroll and services. Building business relationships. Increasing your interpersonal skills and emotional intelligence will help you build your business acumen. This is also key to understanding how your company makes money, what drives the profitability and the goals of your company. Of course, building those key business relationships also involves knowing your audience, speaking to their interests, understanding your stakeholders and their business, and developing a relationship with them is the key to success. To drive your function to the next level, you will need to ensure you have the alignment with your stakeholders. It is important to have a good relation with them and understand where you intersect with one another. Continuous improvement. Creativity and understanding changing priorities results in the need to continuously improve your payroll process and people. Learning how to identify what needs to change and coming up with solutions to meet those changes is a necessary part of the process. Look for redundancy in your process, non-value added steps, manual work that could be automated. What you build today will not be the same in the very near future. So your ability to be agile and look forward is necessary. So what's payroll? We talked about so much. Let's see. The word came into use around 1750s as a combination of the words pay and roll. referring to the list of periodic payments made to employees as salary. Simply put, payroll is a list of periodic payments made to employees and as salaries. I would like to go back to what Arun sir said in the beginning, that everyone wants salary, everyone looks forward for the salary. So everyone looks for that one pay day, the salary day. So what the slide that is going to come next very much relate to all of us. Agreeing? The most powerful words other than I love you are salary is credited. The moment you get the salary, then when you near to the month end, you become so emotional with salary that our heart goes to tell, we miss you. We often hear now, with all these coming up, we have often heard or have come through all the slides that payroll is used in different names. Payroll, salary, wages. So are they all same? Let's define with examples. Payroll, a list of companies' employees and amount of money that they are to be paid. Example, there are just 3 employees on the payroll. Salary, a fixed regular payment typically made on monthly basis, but often expressed as annual sum made by an employer to an employee, especially a professional or white-collar worker. Example, he received a salary of 24,000 pound. Wage, a fixed regular payment earned for work or services, typically paid on a daily or weekly basis. Example, we were struggling to get better wages. Remuneration is money paid for work or service. Example, they work in excess of their contracted hours for no additional remunerations. Compensation is something typically money awarded to someone in recognition of loss, suffering, or injury. Example, he is seeking compensation for injuries suffered at work. Earnings is money obtained in return for labor or services. Example, he claimed damages for loss of earnings. Pay is money given that is due for work done, goods received, or a debt incurred. Example, the traveler paid a guide to show him across. Income. Income is the money received especially on a regular basis for work or through investment. Example, he has a nice home and an adequate income. After all, these are all the shining stars of payroll galaxy. Yes. Now we talk about payroll philosophy and principles. So, is payroll having any philosophy or principles and principles? The philosophy is the what and why. It clarifies what you believe in or what you want to do. It also describes why you believe in the approach. So, and the principles are how of the payroll. Now, payroll philosophy. The goal of a payroll philosophy is to attract, retain, and motivate employees. For companies in the private sector, this usually requires a competitive pay philosophy. For companies in public sector, this means a well-rounded philosophy with a focus on benefits and work life. Payroll principles. Whether you have 10, 20, or over 1,000 employees, effective payroll management is an absolute must in running an efficient organization. This includes keeping track of accrued taxes, paying your employees correctly and on time. Thus, it is no understatement when we say we want to make sure you are using human and technology resources efficiently to ensure prompt, correct, and organized payouts. So prompt and fair payroll. While all employers dream of having employees that are motivated, engaged, and eager for company success, it's important to remember that one of the top reasons they are there is to earn a paycheck. Your responsibility as an employer is to ensure that workers are paid on time and the company bank account always includes enough money to cover paychecks. Managing employee hours and needs. Successful payroll management includes not just paying your employees efficiently and meeting your tax needs, but also facilitating employees' needs and organization. While reducing employees' hours will lead to a reduced payroll and payroll tax liabilities, it can be dangerous to be understaffed. Understaffed can lead to poor employee performance in terms of heavy workloads and an inability to be consistent with the clients. You always want enough staff on hand to meet your customer demand. Sometimes this may even mean keeping a slightly overstaffed organization to keep employee workloads fair and ensure that customers or clients will always have access to an educated and enthusiastic staff. Let's see some famous quotes on wages. Henry Ford, paying good wages is not charity at all. It is the best kind of business. A minimum wage law is in reality a law that makes it illegal for an employer to hire a person with limited skills. Now, we are again coming to economics. We will just have the names of some theories and models relevant to payroll, which we will mention in today's sessions. However, due to time constraints, we will not be able to go through each one of them in detail. And these are theories which definitely needs to be explained and understood carefully. And I promise we will take this for future sessions. Apart from these theories, we have some relevant research-based models and other theories. Endowment effect, equity theory, expectancy theory, hierarchy of needs, labor market theory, operant conditioning, organizational citizenship, principal agent theory, we are not done, psychological contract, theory X and Y, two-factor theory, and utility theory. Wow. Now, since we have covered so much of information, how about having a payroll tour? So let's go around the world. Let's enjoy payroll tour and explore some of the payroll areas. Just to note, the content and the information is based on the learning materials provided by my institute during my fellowship program, and also based on my research on articles and studies from reliable sources, including website and books. Few points to note, please. The rules and regulations are all subject to changes and may be or would have been changed based on external factors and other influences, including the pandemic. The objective of sharing this information is to see that they were in existence. As part of continuing my learning and to keep myself updated as a payroll professional, I'm in process of doing some researches and a few are shared in the form of this presentation. The course or the source courtesy for this article is from Time Analytics. Hence, in case if you find them as no longer existing or changed, please do share your views at the end of the sessions. So, ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelt and here we go. We will have a quick overview on working hours, overtime, leaves, gratuity. So, are we ready? So, with the payroll tour, what are we going to see? We will also slightly cover up on what UAE is in all these areas. So, around the world we go and sightseeing trip of UAE. The working hours, the work week around the world. Most countries have a work week that totals around 40 hours, working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday is almost the most common model. Yet these practices aren't universal. The number of weekly work hours mostly depends on the country and industry at hand. On the other hand, culture, religion, and other factors can impact the structure of the work week itself. Let's see statistics from all over the world. Globally, the global average number of work hours per week is 40. However, this number varies in different countries. As you can see from the graph, Asian and South American countries have the highest average number of weekly hours, while Europeans tend to be more relaxed. So, how about working days and hours in United Arab Emirates? The UAE authorities have announced that for public sector employees, the working week will be reduced to 4.5 days, with the weekend running from Friday afternoon to Sunday. The new working week in federal sector entities became applicable from 1st January 2022. UAE has revised its work week timings after 15 years, with government staff entitled to get 2.5 days off every week. The revised work week that came into effect from 1st Jan 2022. This means that employees would be working on Fridays till 12 p.m. The Friday sermons and prayers have been pushed after 1:50 p.m., which will help Muslim employees offer them in congregation after work. They will then get the rest of Friday off in addition to Saturday and Sunday. It really shows how the UAE government takes care on the well-being of UAE nationals. Overtime. What does it mean to work overtime? Overtime refers to any hours worked by an employee that exceed their normally scheduled working hours, while a generalized overtime definition refers simply to those hours worked outside the standing working schedule. Overtime commonly refers concurrently to the employee's remuneration of such work. Overtime regulations. Overtime and wage regulations can protect workers who would otherwise be required to work more than they would like at the current rate. Most national countries have overtime laws that may take into account aspects other than humanitarian, such as preserving the health of workers so that they continue to be productive and increase the overall level of employment in the economy. These laws regulate how to compensate employees for working in excess of a standard work week, with certain exceptions related to industry. Federal and state law requires that non-exempt employees to be paid when they work overtime. USA. The Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, FLSA, introduced two forms of federal wage regulations into US labor market, a minimum wage and a requirement that an overtime wage at least 1.5 times the straight time hourly wage. United Kingdom. Regulations say most workers cannot be forced to work longer than average 48 hours a week, but can agree to work longer. So overtime rate in UK has no minimum statutory levels of overtime pay, and employers are not forced to pay workers for doing overtime. However, the average wage for the total hours worked must not fall minimum the national minimum wage. Employees' employment contract should include details of overtime pay rates and how they have worked out. Spain. Full-time work in Spain is based on a maximum of 40 hours per week, calculated on an annual basis. Overtime at night is illegal with very few exceptions. The employer can compensate you for overtime work with paid vacation time. Overtime rate Overtime hours are usually paid at 75% of basic hourly rate. India. According to the Factory Act of 1948, every adult, a person who has reached the age of 18, cannot work longer than 48 hours a week and a maximum of 9 hours a day. Overtime work should be voluntary, not forced by agreement. Employees should decide whether they want to work overtime or not. Overtime rate. Overtime workers will be paid overtime wage at a rate of twice the ordinary rate of wages. Australia. Generally, a full-time employees may work a maximum of 38 hours per week unless the employer requires them to work reasonably more hours. These additional hours will usually be paid as overtime, but there may be variation depending on the nature of the job and the current remuneration, which may determine the maximum normal working hours an employee can work daily or weekly. Overtime rate. From Monday to Saturday, overtime work is paid at a rate that is 1.5 times higher than the usual salary of the employees for the first 3 hours of overtime work on any day, and at twice the usual salary rate for all overtime work he worked after. At 150% of the employee's regular working hours for the first 2 or 3 hours of overtime. At 200% of normal working hours per hour after 2 or 3 hours of overtime. So, how does overtime or how is overtime in United Arab Emirates? Employees can be asked to work overtime provided the number of extra hours do not exceed 2 in a day. If an employee is required to work behind the normal hours, the pay for the extra time is hourly wage basic plus 25% of the amount. This could increase to 50% if overtime is done between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. This rule does not apply to employees who work in shift. Paid time off, PTO. Let me share something. I was asking my daughter Sharanya, what topic should I choose to share that will be of interest and of curiosity? Because there are so many things to be discussed. And I was so surprised and also happy when she said, Amma, why don't you say something on leaves? Thank you, Sharanya. I know you're watching me live. Thank you so much, my love, for making me choose the most interesting topic. And here we go. What are the common types of PTO? Vacation leave, sick leave, maternity, paternity leave, personal leave, study leave, bereavement leave. Let us see how this is across. US. US federal law does not provide for paid vacation. Most companies grant between 1 and 3 weeks of paid annual leave. UK. According to the government UK, in England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, employees are entitled to 5.6 weeks, about 28 days of annual leave. Employers have the option to determine when the vacation can be taken. But if holidays are not used, employers must pay for days not taken. Spain. In Spain, annual leave is determined by contract and must last at least 30 days. The vacation schedule is agreed upon between the employer and employee. Paid vacation days cannot be replaced with financial compensation. India. In India, employees are entitled to 15 paid vacation days per week. The exception is factory workers who are entitled to 19 days a year. Australia. Full-time employees are entitled to 4 weeks of paid leaves. Shift employees are usually entitled to 5 weeks of paid annual leave. Unused leave cannot be accumulated and later unused leaves can be accumulated and later used or redeemed. Let us see some of the facts about paid time off per country. Annual leave or annual vacation varies greatly from country to country. While some of them give a minimum of few days, others have established generous vacation policies that grant employees almost a month of annual leave. So, has there been any change in annual leave in United Arab Emirates? The employer may agree to grant the worker a leave from his annual leave balance during the probation period. This was there never before. So we are almost nearing the finishing line of itinerary. Gratuity. This is also the source courtesy from my study material on certified payroll specialist from Middle Earth HR. Gratuity in US, UK, and Australia. There is no strong culture for this. Leaving gratuity is up to the employer. What is the new rules for gratuity in India? According to the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972, an employee is entitled to receive 15 days of salary as gratuity in every year of his service. As part of gratuity for an employee's every year service, the organization will have to pay an amount which is equivalent to 15 days of his salary, which he has last drawn. However, to please note that new regulations for gratuity have been formulated in the recent past. In the year 2022, certain changes have been made in the regulatory framework pertaining to the receipt of gratuity. So, has there been any changes in the gratuity law in United Arab Emirates? Yes. In accordance with the new and revised labor law, all contracts are limited. So gratuities are calculated based on 21 days of basic pay per year of service. Every additional year after 5 years of service is credited with 30 days of gratuity. There are other key sectors also. We have example income tax, which is an ocean and really needs to have much better clarity and understanding, and need much more time and must be explained by the real subject matter expert. And in UAE, we do not have an income tax. As rightly quoted by Einstein, the hardest thing in the world to understand is the income tax. I hope Raji will agree with me on this. So moving on. Oh, what is this box that has come in between? Now that we have seen in brief about theories, laws, models, it's time to practice them. However, please keep in mind to apply the best practices considering the best fit. Reference on the book, Reward Management, a Practical Introduction by Michael Rose, who says, it is the culture and values that define the brand, and reward should reflect these, not blindly follow the market. So Michael Rose strongly advocates an approach of best fit, not best practice, not me to some, but what will work for us. And now the time has come to share some of the tools and techniques easy to be applied in or for learning payroll, and also to be followed each and every time you do payroll. Let us see one by one. Timeliness. Any business owner or senior executives will agree that equal to service or product offered by an organization is the value commitment of their employees. And important as encouragement, teamwork, and leadership is among employees, so is timely payroll for our employees. In the immediate instance, should there be a mishap of payroll within an organization, whether in delayed payment or an error in payment, the effect can have negative connotations for your employees and on overall health of your company. One of the negative impact of a business that does not process timely payroll is the concern and lack of confidence from your employees towards your organizations. Accuracy. Employees are our company's biggest assets, and as such, they need to be engaged, motivated, and developed to be retained. Employee costs are the single greatest expense within most organizations. So having timely and accurate payrolls is the key, and it is vital that it is an efficient, seamless process. Every organization continually changes, and across any change, there is a change impact on your employees. So the HR organization's biggest challenge is currently or how they successfully manage change. HR now need to be able to translate change into communicable format to enable their employees to understand why and what change will mean for them. The change will sit across all areas within a business, but within HR, the attraction and the onboarding and the retention of employees is one of the top challenges, and poor payroll is cited as one of the key areas that can have hugely negative impact on an employee satisfaction by eroding trust and inspiring doubt. Historically, payroll has been seen as a general, low-level task. Running accurate and timely payroll consistently is mandate, and the challenges surrounding it continue to sap the time of not only payroll but HR professionals and the wider organizations. Not getting the essential processes right only creates more stress and pressure. Understanding the key challenges and ensuring your organization is properly prepared to deal with them. Consistency, confidentiality. Confidentiality of payroll data is critical, but at times it proves to be difficult to maintain it. Many companies take extra care to ensure the payroll information of their employees stays confidential and do not lose quality manforce to competitor. A leak in payroll records can result in discord among employees and compromise the employer or employee's financial situation. And there should be consistency on all the payroll processes. Transparency. At its core, pay transparency is a strategy for talking about employee salaries within the company. According to a 2022 report from compensation software company Paycom, 60% of 1,000 employed US adults surveyed would switch companies to one with more pay transparency. Pay transparency does not have to involve creating a spreadsheet with each employee salary listed either. For instance, it can look like proactive conversation between managers and employees, or payroll audits to identify discrepancies. Telling an employee what they earn is the bare minimum. Higher transparency levels include sharing pay ranges for each role, sharing insight into how salaries are calculated. It is up to each employer to define how transparent they should be within their organization. Ultimately, the goal of pay transparency is to give workers an understanding of why they are paid what they are and what they need to do to reach the next step on the ladder. Indicators. As management legend Peter Drucker once said, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it, you can't manage it. This philosophy has grown into an essential tenet of business management as leaders everywhere develop key performance indicators, the KPIs, and track their results over time. These KPIs work best when they align with specific processes and challenges. Whether you are with a small business that's just starting out or a growing business looking to improve, these key payroll performance metrics will help ensure your organization's payroll processes allocates resources correctly while fully supporting your employees. So what are the most important payroll KPIs? Payroll KPIs, payroll performance measurements that analyze the relative cost of payroll process while also indicating whether that process is fully accurate. Payroll inaccuracies do more than bleed company resources. They can also lead to tax-related fines and strong employee dissatisfaction. After shoring up your company's foundation with an accurate payroll processes, payroll KPIs then act as tools to measure payroll performance. A cost-benefit analysis of your company's compensation-related expenses. Some of the KPIs, payroll KPIs or performance metrics can be number of errors at accuracy rate, overtime, time to run payroll, cost to payroll, cost per payroll payment, labor expenses as a percentage of total revenue. Communication. Why communication and confidentiality are essential in payroll. This is also from an article, Management Tips by Robert Half, who says, non-technical skills are important in every career. Take communication and confidentiality, which payroll professionals often describe as the two most important attributes in their jobs, that they have nothing to do with data entry, time cards, paychecks, and financial statements. One of the main element that is absolutely essential to the competency and efficiency of payroll is communication with employees. Soft skills like communication in the payroll industry is an important tool to educate employees and help them feel confident that they are paid correctly. Educating employees on the payroll process, pay calculation, legislative updates, and benefits or deduction changes is done verbally as well as through memos, policies, and even email. We must clearly and effectively explain how payroll checks are calculated, especially when employee believes that they are paid incorrectly. I make it a point that I explain in detail to my colleagues verbally and also in written. Before moving to the next part, we also have to talk something on the departmental communication. Communication is vitally important to the proper functioning of any department. Communication must be clear, concise, and directly to the point. Remember, communicating effectively is not only for the employees to have confidence in the payroll department and that they are paid correctly. Department heads rely heavily on the payroll department, and communicating effectively, accurately, and often makes a win-win situations for all. Attitude. This is from smallbusiness.com, where it says about 5 attitudes that are important in workplace, and it is applicable even for payroll professionals. It may seem as if skills and experience are the most important characteristics of an employee, but attitude plays just a big of a role. After all, what good are great professional skills without attitude to see it all through? There are 5 key attitudes in employees to ensure a harmonious professional environment and a productive staff. Respect for others. Those with this type of attitude are willing to treat other people politely and professionally, even if they disagree with other person's points of view. Enthusiasm. Eager to learn new skills and ideas and quickly applies them to work. Some people are born with positive energy, but it can also be developed. Teach yourself to approach every situation, positive or negative, as a challenge and an opportunity. Adopt a half full attitude in the company. Soon an enthusiastic attitude will be extended towards co-workers, customers, and everything you do. Commitment to the job. Project a committed attitude by showing a willingness to do whatever it takes to fulfill the duties of your position and via the development of new ideas to make the company even better. When committed individuals work together as a team towards company goals, everyone benefits. Innovative ideas and finding new ways. Those with innovative ideas or attitude don't shy away from trying something new or finding a different way to do things. Think outside the box and innovate new ways to accomplish existing tasks and approach goals. Those with this type of attitude know their ideas might not work out to be the best to do something, but the greatest failure is not giving at least a try. Give ideas a shot. Helpfulness with others. It is important to have a helpful attitude at work to accomplish overall company goals. The more helpful an attitude employees have, the more people want to be around them at work, and the more willing they are to partner with those employees on key projects and initiatives. Last but not the least are legal and learning. Legal compliance. What is the definition of payroll compliance? When delivering payroll for your organization, you must follow the payroll requirements as stipulated by both federal and state law. Each time you run payroll, there are intricate procedures to be followed relating to withholding of a range of different taxes with your employees' checks. This is what is meant to be payroll compliant. So why is payroll compliance legislation important? Payroll compliance legislation is important because the various underpinning laws ensure that employees are paid equitably and treated fairly. It also ensures that the government has the fund to support important social security programs like Medicare, retirement, disability benefits, survivors, and children. Payroll compliance starts with the correct classification of workers, permanent, employee, contract. Compliance also requires reliable processing of payroll data, which is best achieved by applying payroll performance indicator. A payroll compliance checklist can be prepared, including the following. So there are so much to take into, therefore just summarizing what can be or may be considered as a payroll compliance checklist. Determine classification, complete all the regulatory mandatory forms, add employee to payroll system, assign a payroll ID number, set up payment method, set up essential deduction, report essential information to the tax department or Department of Labor, report as required to the tax authorities, and regularly audit compliance. Learning is using the WARC model. The four core learning styles in the WARC model indicates visual, auditory, reading and writing, and the kinesthetic model. Here's an overview of all four learning styles. Visual. Visual learners are better able to retain information when it is presented to them in a graphic depiction, such as arrows, chart, diagrams, symbols, and more. Auditory, sometimes referred to as oral learners, auditory learners prefer listening to information that is presented to them vocally. These learners work well in group settings where vocal collaboration is present and may enjoy reading aloud to themselves. Reading and writing. Focusing on the written word, reading and writing learners succeed with the written information on worksheets, presentation, and other text-heavy resources. These learners are note takers and perform strongly when they can reference with written text. Kinesthetic. They are the people taking a physically active role. These learners are hands-on and thrive when engaging all of their senses during coursework. These learners tend to work well in scientific studies due to hands-on lab components of the course. So it was so much of techniques. How will we remember these? Don't worry. So what I have done is I have developed a technique to memorize all this in a form of acronym as tactical. Now, why have I given this name tactical? Because of the definition. Tactical, especially related to military or naval tactics, characterized by skillful tactics or adroit maneuvering procedures. Tactical movements or relating to a maneuver or a plan of action designed as an expedient towards gaining a desired end. What is the use of tactical? You use tactical to describe an action or plan which is intended to help someone achieve what they want in particular situation. And why is called tactical? Indeed, as mentioned, the word tactical has its root in tactics related to combat operations. Tactics are used and are even integral in the military. So what is the difference between tactical and strategy? While strategy is the action plan that takes you where you want to go, tactics are the individual steps and actions that will get you there. Equally important is to touch on the data protection. GDPR is General Data Protection Regulations in European Union law, or data protection and privacy in European Union and European Economic Area. Also an important part of EU privacy law and of human rights law. The UK GDPR sets out 7 key principles: lawfulness, fairness and transparency, purpose limitations, data minimization, accuracy, storage limitation, integrity and confidentiality, accountability. In UAE, the Personal Data Protection Law, Federal Decree Law number 45 of 2021 regarding the protection of personal data constitutes an integrated framework to ensure the confidentiality of information and protect the privacy of individuals in UAE. It provides a proper governance for data management and protection and defines the rights and duties of all parties concerned. The Personal Data Protection Law is the first federal law to be drafted in partnership with majority technology companies in the private sector and has come into force on 2nd January 2022. As per Chartered Institute of Payroll Professionals, data protection must have 3 basic elements. Collect only those data, personal, that are required. Use the collected data for the intended purpose only and protect the data. So now that you know your role, and it was so much of information, let's have some fun. Yeah. We are almost coming to the close of the wonderful journey, and I'm sure you all would have gained a lot of information and enjoyed, just like I enjoyed talking about my niche payroll. And the game. Now, what is the game showing? I will be showing we are going to play 2 games, both picture related. In the first picture, I will have 4 hidden words, and the words are very, very simple, commonly used words, not related to payroll or all technical, nothing. They are all very commonly used words. So you need to find out those 4 hidden words. Hold on. You have to find those 4 words in 4 minutes. So are we ready? You can either unmute your audio or type in the chat box, whichever is convenient to you. But the time is 4 minutes and I am going to be the timekeeper. So, ready? Let's set go. Here is a picture. Can you find the 4 hidden words? The time starts now. You just have 4 minutes.
Lamp.
Very good. Superb. So you got it. 1.
Lamp. Attitude.
Yes. More to come. Superb. I have to remove my watch for the timing. 1 minute over.
Wind. It's in wind. Sandy wind.
No, it's not only. You can go ahead. You are almost near. 1 one more. Just
Window,
we
window,
got-
window.
Very
Window.
good. Superb, superb. So we got the second one. Wow, you're going. No, no, not attitude. No, no. So we got lamp, we got window. One more minute. Yes, you can make it. I'll give a hint. I'll give an hint. Look at the boy who is reading somewhere. You can see on his head something.
Brain.
Yeah. Yeah. And look at the carpet. There is something, I believe. I think this will be a little difficult because it took some time for me also to find out. But then I got it. Anyway, time's up. So anyway, good attempt for getting the 3 words. Superb. Here we go. Window, lamp, brain, and rug.
Ah,
I couldn't find the rug. Ah, rug.
yes.
All right. So now coming to the next picture. This is also similar to this. We all have played in our childhood and we are still maybe playing on it. Now this picture has got 2 pictures where you have to find 5 differences. But I know I was so kind enough to give 4 minutes in the previous game. This time I'm going to be more generous and you are supposed to find 5 differences in 2 minutes. Wow.
Wow.
Here the time starts.
Teacher.
The eyeglasses.
Oh, superb. The eyeglasses. Next. Come on, more people, please attempt.
The roots.
Superb. Roots, yes.
Hand.
Which one? Did you say hair?
Hand,
The
yes.
clouds.
The clouds? No, no.
No. Grass or no?
Grass, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
yes.
bush here.
Hair. One
Hair.
more.
The
to go.
hair. The
Hand,
hair.
hand. The hands,
That
hands.
is done. That is done. Hand. Someone said hand. Wow. This was very fast, huh? Very quick. So we have the 5 differences. How did you enjoy this game?
The 3
It was
fingers.
really so fun. And if you have noticed, the game was more of excitement because of the time element, 4 minutes, 2 minutes. And that's how my friends, payroll professionals are bounded by time, need to find the hidden things, need to find the difference, but we are enjoying. And with this, we come to the end of the program. Thank you so much. I'm thankful to all once again for taking your valuable time to attend this program. I'm sure it was of great insight and knowledge filled. And I'll be conducting more such free programs and through WAC solutions will keep you informed. Meanwhile, I will also see to share my email ID and mobile number in case anyone is interested in learning more about the subject or would like to switch their career to payroll and need to know some more about it, please do drop in message and I'll be happy to talk. I'm opening the platform for all of us to please share your views, any thoughts, especially on pandemic impact on payroll or on payroll software that you are currently using and found it very useful or anything related to this program. Also, I'm handing over the platform to my guru, Arun sir. Thank you, sir. And thank you all once again. But before that, let me also wish you all happy Diwali in advance. So let's talk. So I'm stopping the screen share. And thank you once again.
It was amazing, Sandhya, really. You know, it was as if, AK-47 has started firing right from beginning to end. It was amazing flow, amazing quantum of information, beautifully structured. I really didn't know there was so much to payroll. Yeah, you rightly said we all thought, that payrolls, started and ended with your salary has been credited.
So I have achieved, at least in this 1 hour and 2 hours, I have achieved.
And
Thank you so much.
the way you transitioned the deck was fabulous. Everything technically was near perfect. Nature abhors perfection, so I will not exaggerate and say it was perfect, but it was near perfect. It was amazing for a beginner. It's amazing. It was really international, world class, as Nagi has rightly pointed out. And we look forward to many more such informative programs from you. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people here on the platform who can benefit from your, support and guidance.
I will put my email ID and my contact details. So
Sandhya ma'am, can you look at me?
yes, yes. Nagi sir.
That's okay.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much with all the prayers and blessings. Thank you. So
Actually, the
there
beginning
is
of your
anything-
session, at the beginning of the session,
It would have been nice if you had created a Calendly link, so that people could
Yeah.
have contacted you and had a one-on-one with you, and you could have helped resolve their payroll issues or how they can go about strategically aligning their corporate objectives with the payroll, reduce attrition, enhance employee engagement, motivation.
Yes, sir, I would
I
have
think-
definitely, but I just could not make that calendar. But definitely, if I get some details at least, I will definitely share the time spread, because I have to. I'm into some projects also, so I need to complete those. So definitely, I will be working on it.
ma'am, can I
And,
say something?
Yes, sir.
Oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Anil, sir.
No, please go ahead, Nagi sir.
No. Mine is not that important. Your
No, you see, I
Time
wanted to
something.
make an announcement about 26th program, nothing else. You can please go ahead.
Oh,
I just want to say, as we began the program, Arun sir was saying, being the eve of Diwali and then 20-some people attending or 31 people attending something. Actually, I wanted to add up. It's a dawn, Sandhya. And then it doesn't end there. There's victory, the Jaya. And there's a shine, there's a Prakash. Thank you.
thank you so
Our
much.
friends, a very, very happy Diwali to all the participants who have come on the platform. A very happy, prosperous, beautiful, wonderful, lighted Diwali to you all. And let me remind you that on 26th, we have another giant giving a program on quality circuits. Mr. Jagdish Nonia was, has retired from Steel Authority as a general manager, and he's expert in the field of quality management. So he will be giving a program on 26th evening at 7:30 on how to implement quality circles in your organization. Please do feel free to register and join the program and add to your knowledge base. Thank you all. Thank you. I see a lot of people have joined from Zambia. A lot of people from the Middle East and from Singapore. I'm glad to see that we are going global and we have got the might to go global with people like Sandhya, Jagdish, Colonel Ramarao, Chandrasekhar, everyone giving programs. I'm sure we are well on our way to achieving global recognition very soon. Thank you, Sandhya, once more. And I look forward to the next program very soon.
Yes, sir. I would definitely love to.
Yeah, please convey my best wishes for the Diwali to your contacts. And I will request all those who have joined the program today, who are friends and relatives of Sandhya Jayaprakash, to continue patronizing this platform and gaining more and more from the experts and consultants here. Thank you, friends. Good night.
Sir, there is a Padma Vasudevan has raised the
Yes,
hand.
Miss
She
Padma.
has a-
No, sorry, that is my mom. I think she is blessing me. That's the, she's my mom.
Oh,
She's blessing
but
me.
the blessing is only for you or for all of us?
Maybe we can take it for all. And she's also wishing everyone happy Diwali.
Why doesn't she open the video and say a few words?
No. I forced her to come on the platform. It's okay.
We would love to
I
see
will
her.
see. Let me see if she is okay.
We would
to
love
come.
to hear from her
Just a second.
what she
Let me
feels
see.
about her daughter's maiden performance on the international platform.
Let me see if she is available, because I'm not sure. She is a bit. Just let me try. But it's okay, sir. Maybe next time. Next time I'll make her polished and ready.
I saw one more, Sharanya Jayaprakash.
That's my daughter.
Oh, is she there on the platform or she's she's
No,
there.
no,
Maybe
she's
she
there,
can
she's there.
speak, say a
Yes.
few words about how she feels about her mother's maiden venture.
Yes,
Okay.
hi, good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Sharanya, please unmute the video. We would like to see the proud
This was
daughter of
not
her
planned.
accomplished mother.
This was not at all planned, sir. Otherwise, they would have all come in a very formal way.
Hi.
Ah.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Saranya. And let me tell you one thing, your casual dress is far better than the professional Sandhya.
I'm actually proud of her, the way she has presented. I'm really proud of my mother.
Rightly so.
Yeah. And excuse me for my attire.
Non.
And you are a spitting image of your mother, by the way.
Oh, really?
No, actually, she is my inspiration, sir, because she is the lucky star for me, and I really, I am
Yeah, I
really
remember
grateful
you're
to
telling me once during our conversation that you are highly inspired and motivated
Yes,
by
yes,
her.
yes,
And she's a drive behind your
yes, sir.
things.
Yes, sir.
I'm very happy to see the two of you. I only wish your mother are also unmuted.
Mhm.
You would have had the three generations on the same screen.
Let me see. Just if you all can bear a minute, just let me try call.
You are making our Diwali really great, Sandhya. This much I can tell you. So, Saranya, where are you speaking from?
I'm in Abu Dhabi itself.
Oh, you are also in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
In a different room.
Yeah. Quite close to my mother. Yeah. It's just 10-minute drive from her place.
So, what are you doing there?
I'm working for a company. It's basically an oil and gas industry company. I'm working as an accounts assistant.
Mom has
Yes, your
come.
grandmother is on the line.
She's also
Namaskaram,
in Abu
madam.
Dhabi.
So, where is she speaking from, joining us from, Sandhya?
She's also in Abu Dhabi with my sister. My sister is also close by. My daughter is also, my whole family is here only.
Does Abu Dhabi contain anybody else other than the Jayaprakash family?
We are the ruling family, sir.
So I think we can have a great time when we come to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. And in fact, my son-in-law's family have also here. His parents are also here. So it's like I've been, as said, like 29 years. So this is my home now. To me, India is just as a visitor, I come there.
Okay, great.
I thought Sanjay ma'am would say we need.
So Saranya, what do you specialize in?
I'm into accounts, finance.
Accounts.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm working as an accounts assistant.
Working as an accountant. And what do you want to do going forward?
I'm currently doing my ACCA also. So hope, yeah.
Yes.
Best wishes to you.
Thank you.
She has done her
Sandhya ma'am.
MBA from Scotland. sir.
Take a leaf or two out of your mother's experience.
Yeah. She's my inspiration.
And help her scale greater heights. She has it in her. And her very close friend, I can see Rajalakshmi is also here on the platform. Maybe she would like to say a few words.
Raji is my, Without Raji, this would not have happened, sir. I should express my deepest gratitude to Raji and Mr. Ranga.
And she took us by surprise in DMT1 with her dedication, and she started off exceedingly well.
That's my sister, sir. That's she already went. Okay, no problem. Yeah. That's my sister. We are just the opposite.
Namaskar, namaskar.
I'll just
Great.
stop the recording, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
Oh, yeah.